Well, Dan, firstly, welcome on. Thank you for coming on. I was literally going to say as we started, we just had a fucking podcast before we come on, but it's already been great meeting you, mate. But don't want to be too cliche, and I'm sure we've got a lot to talk about. But where did it start for you? I know that's a cliche question, but you have had quite a crazy. I don't want to say journey, but journey. Well, quite a crazy journey, even before property. So, what's the script with you, Dan?
Where did it start? Well, I mean, if we went all the way back, so like at school, like year 7, like starting like year 7, that seems like a good place to start. Yeah. I don't know, like before that, I was a proper shy kid. Even like year 7, 8, and 9, really shy person. A little bit of a fat kid at school, and then like grades were like not good at all. To be honest with you, like I was getting C's, D's, whatever. And then year 10 and 11, the teachers were like, can you turn it on a little bit? Like you need to start performing. Like my predicted grades for GCSEs were like D's and E's, and they were like, you need to start. I knew I wasn't trying anyway, so I was like, okay, let's just start trying. Then started trying. Grades started to get better, started to move up the sets and stuff. But coincidentally, it was also when I started sailing. So it was before that I was doing like hockey, rugby, football. When you just do everything at school, don't you? So before that I was doing everything. But around like the year 9, year 10, my friend at school got me back into sailing. My mum used to sail as a kid, tried to get me into it, just didn't like it at all, so I just didn't do it. But yeah, year 9, year 10, got back into sailing, and also like that kind of helped me work a bit harder at school, I think, as well. It was the first time like sailing, went to the local dinghy club, had some fun, and then like it's quite a pyramid, so like once you're in it, it's very easy to like find the next step. So I hired a boat, went to like a few events, got like a bit better at sailing. Just like it's very like they push you in the right direction. It's so like go this way. And just like alongside that, I just started to do a bit better in school. In hindsight, looking back on it, it was probably because like in sailing, it was the first time I'd like set goals, worked towards them, stuff like that. So in school, it was like my mum did like my full revision timetable. I just went a bit sweaty at school, to be fair, but I had a nice balance of like having some fun.
So is this like 16? Is it?
Yeah, this is like year 10. This is like year 10. Like basically year 17, year 9 was just an absolute piss about, basically having a great time, which is fine. And then year 10, 11, I started to work a bit harder. Still had the class clown side of it, but also was a bit of a sweat. So had like a real in between, a balance. Like I wouldn't be like in the alleyways after school, but I would also like have some good banter at school. So year 10 and 11 started working out, and then sailing progressed, school progressed as well. Got 4 A stars for raising a B, absolutely gas. School were like, oh my god, it's the perfect prodigy. I was like, you didn't do anything. I just turned it on a bit. And then A levels. When I was at A levels, I wanted to. At this point, the sailing had progressed a bit more, so I got on the British sailing team. Year 12, 13. So I was part of the British sailing team then in like the transition squads, like the lower ranks. And then I went around this time. I didn't have anything to do with property at this point. My dad had a small portfolio, but nothing to do with property. And then I wanted to be a stockbroker like Wolf of Wall Street. So I went to university, did economics and finance at uni alongside the sailing. And that took us to 2019. Got a first in economics and finance. Not that I do anything with it now, but I did it. So it was fun. Had the best 3 years of my life at university. I can't lie. Like, it was amazing. Went to the University of Exeter. And then, out of university, I stepped. The whole time I'd been balanced. It was a bit long-winded, but the whole time I'd been balancing sailing alongside school, alongside university. And then I finished university, and I had a lot of extra time because I was no longer studying for anything, but I was still doing the sailing. So I stepped full-time into the sailing, and I think I've got a little bit of ADD in me. Like, I need to do something all the time, or ADHD, either one. But like, I need to do something all the time. And I was like, look, I've got so much spare time, like my brain just can't sit still. So my dad, who was a full-time accountant, or has his own accountancy business, I was like, what can I do in property? And he was actually doing the accounts of someone who did rent to SA. So he's like, have a conversation. Obviously, being young, naive, I got a lot of free information off them. So me and my mum decided to go 50-50 and start a rent to SA business in November 2019. And that's where it started. And basically, like, since then, I went full time in the Olympic cycle, like trying to campaign towards the Olympics in Paris 2024. Unfortunately, lost the Olympic trials last year, and then went full time into the property side. But since then we've grown to 32 rent to SAs, over 50 properties under management, 3 buy to SAs, 1 buy to let, a flip in there as well.
Jesus Christ,
so
mate.
it all happened.
A lot to go into there. Like, you kind of casually just said about being like a British sailor, like that's crazy. So you went in there for like a little bit of a laugh and then ended up like nearly getting into the Olympics. Is that right?
Yeah, so well, basically, yeah. So I started, like I say, my friend at school. If we went like way back, my mum used to sail with my granddad, so her dad. So I lived by the ocean. Like, well, I didn't live by the ocean, but went down to Salcombe, the southwest, quite a lot, because my granddad had a place down there, and I was always like around sailing. I got like my levels for like your lessons for sailing at like when I was quite young, but just like didn't like it at all. My sister was way better than me. And then year 9, year 10, my friend George Bedell, shout out, got me into like the local dinghy club, and we just went there and like had a whale of a time because it was just different times, a bit older. Just fell in love with the sport, and then I'm always competitive anyway. I was competitive at like hockey as well, and like basically just that became the sport that I wanted to like. I just went down that path, and like I say, it's like a pyramid of like where you need to go. And so, unfortunately, my mum and dad gave up loads for me as well to make sure I could go to events. And I just got better and better, to be fair. I got better than the coaches. And you go to basically like junior squads, youth squads. And then, if you're good enough, you get to the British sailing team. And then there's levels in the British sailing team as well. I probably never got to my full potential in my senior level. Like I never won a medal at a massive senior event, but our highlight was under 23 worlds when we got a silver medal. That's probably the highlight. But we had some top 10s, stuff like that.
At what point then did you realise, like, fucking hell, I'm half decent at this?
I think probably, I mean, to be fair, probably when we got a silver medal at the Junior Europeans, 2017. And like also, it's like junior level, youth level. I won a lot of races at junior level. You win a lot of youth level, so like it's hard to know. It's not like a point where like, I'm good. And when you get to like the British sailing team, when you get to that level, it's like a bit of a slap in the face, to be honest. You're like,
people are amazing.
Yeah, because youth level and junior level, you do go international, you do. But like a good performance internationally might be like top 15, top 20. And you're like, but I'm still UK national champion. I'm still sick. You know, I'm still winning races at the weekend. But in reality, you go to the British sailing team, you're like, oh, right, we're like 80th. And you're like, oh, right, so this is like senior level. And you go in and you're like, I don't know, how old are you? Like, 20, 18, 20, whatever it is, 20 years old. And you've just racing against people who are like 28, 30, been to Olympics, which is amazing, but it is a bit of a slap in the face for sure. So it's like before that you get the confidence, and then you just try and hold on to your confidence, like I am good. But that's where like the junior worlds, like the under 23 worlds, like to to get a silver medal there was sick. And then like you just basically work your way up the rankings, like and it's just like an absolute roller coaster of emotions. It's like high highs, low lows. And like the Olympic trials was a serious low because it was like, for me, the reason I started the business anyway in the property, like I've always wanted to have, I never wanted to worry about money in terms of, and like sailing, you get paid by the British sailing team, and you have like a salary as such. You can live off it for sure, but it's not going to bring like the luxury lifestyle, not luxury lifestyle I want to live, but the free lifestyle that I wanted to live. And I knew that, and also I didn't feel like I could put 100% into it because I had this thing in the back of my head being like, business. You're not making any money, you're not making any money. Do you know what I mean? You're just net zero. So I was like, I want to build something alongside that means I can then go full time into it. So I was a bit like a bit of a black swan in terms of like compared to other people, or black sheep, or more rather than a black swan event. But I was different to everyone else in the team. No one else had anything else doing anything else on the side. And that was kind of like, for me, looking back on it, like in hindsight, I'm speaking of hindsight here, so it's easy, but I was like, that was something that was always there. And I never really got to like full grips with it, I don't think, because I was always like, oh, what if people say that they're saying this, but no one was actually saying anything. And I probably had the most honest conversations once I left the British sailing team, because I just said to everyone, this is how I felt the whole time, and everyone was like, Dan, we loved what you were doing with the property stuff. Should have embraced it more. But the reason it was so hard was that the last year and a half in sailing was like I put everything into it. Like the business went on like hold basically. And we were saying before we jumped on, I never really posted about property anyway. That was like, that's why it hurt so much, because it felt like I genuinely had put 100% in. And then when we failed, it was like, right, cool. Now what? But fortunately, I could step straight into the business, but it was never about that. It was never about having another little side thing. Oh, it's fine. If I fail at this, I'll just go in that. It was like, I genuinely really wanted to go. And it's so all in, it's just like, it's all in, it's like 7 days a week, always doing it, like training, traveling. Well,
you're competing for the fucking Olympics. I've never met anyone that's competed for that, to be fair. So it's absolutely incredible. But do you mind going into that, like talking about it in terms of, If you don't want to speak about it, that's fine.
No, fine.
We can edit out. But talking about the, not posting on socials and stuff like that because of the, potential.
Yeah. So like, I had a bit of like a conflict of interest. So when I was obviously at the British sailing team, I had there was like two sides of me, right? So this is like post when we started the business. So we got 2019, you've got like Dan in the property world, and then you've got like Dan obviously in the sailing and like Team GB world, athlete world, the property athlete, hence why. And yeah, so basically what happened was like I was trying to get a lot of sponsors for sailing. So you wouldn't like make out that you had no money because you just didn't have any money in sailing. Like you don't, like, you get paid a salary, but it's not enough to the equipment. The equipment's like a brand new boat's 25 grand.
Wow.
And that's like, that is a depreciating, it's not an asset, that is a full liability. And then on top of that, you need two of them. You've got travel expenses, you've got all the equipment. So like, it is an expensive sport. And before that, it's not that crazy expensive. Like at a youth level, you can find like a relatively wealthy individual to help you out. It's like not that crazy expensive. It's not like that, them terms. When you get to the Olympic level, it is, because you need two boats. You need to get the sails. You need to get like 3-4 sets of them. Sometimes you buy a sail and it's just bad, so you just got to sell it. Wow. And so there's so much cost of that. So we were trying to, on one hand, I was trying to get 80, 100k a year in sponsorship, and so I didn't feel like I could be posting about my 10 G's I'm making a month property, So that's where the conflict came in. So for the first, literally until last year, I posted on social media. Yeah. I started the property athlete page, and I was doing a balance between like sailing and property, but people were just so confused. Like everyone in sailing was like, what the fuck's this? And then also like people on the property were like, why is this guy like also an athlete and property? So it's kind of just become, so like I didn't really post about it that much. And then I've just turned up on the scene like last year with like 30 properties and rent to my saying. I was like, hey,
fair play
hey
to
guys.
You, mate.
So I don't know. I feel like I probably could have done better in hindsight. I feel like I could have posted about both, not cared about what anyone else said, and just did it. But
and like we said,
it's so hard, you never know.
Like we said before, it's not like you're training for sports there, you're training for the Olympics. You can't really finger that opportunity. But how was it then when you didn't get into the Paris one? Where that must have been like
so like this, like brief context wise, the way it works is you have like two events which are the Olympic trials. They get picked like a year out. One event was in Hyères, France. The next event was in Parma, and it's around April, May, June, basically the Olympic trials are. Just two events, 1 week long. And in sailing, you have like a week, you have a qualifying series, which is like 3 days long, and like a final series, kind of like think of it like as F1 basically. Yeah. But you have like a few races in both. And after the qualifying series, this fleet gets split into like the top 25, and then the rest of the fleet gets split into different fleets as well. So you could have like 25 people in gold, and then you have like 25 to 75 in silver, and then 75 to 125 or whatever it is in bronze. And once you're in that, it's not like you can't get promoted. So like you're in that. So like if you're in silver, the highest you can come is 26th. So you have to be in gold if you want to try and get top 25. Yeah. So the first 3 days are really important. Sometimes it's 2 days. And basically what happened was, the first trials was in Palma and in Mallorca, which like happens every year. It's post all the winter training. And we went out, like we were like fired up for it. Like genuinely, like we were never number one, like, but we won the nationals, the UK nationals, like we'd beat the people who are going to the Olympics now, James and Finn, shout out. Hopefully they do well, because it's actually started today. So there you go. But they these guys have like unfortunately missed out on the Olympics like 3 cycles in a row. So that's or 2 cycles in a row. So that's 8 years more experience that they have over me and Nick, who I sailed with, because I sailed with someone else. But like it felt like there was an opportunity there still. Like we were at the heels. We'd won like some pre-event races. We'd done really well in the event before as well. It become like top 5 in the event before, which was like a test, little test regatta. And then after 2 days, we'd literally fucked it so hard. We weren't gold fleet, weren't silver fleet, we're in bronze fleet. Like done so terribly, never been so bad in my life. And literally, I rang my mum, cried on the phone for like 3 hours, and was like, my life's over. I was like, this is the end. I was like, because it was so sad, because it was the first time, like I said, ever felt like I'd put 100% into the sailing. Yeah. I'd always when I was at youth level, like you're young, you don't, it's good fun with your mates. It's just so much fun. You're winning. It's just sick. Yeah. You got confidence. And then like the British sailing team, it's different. Like I said, it's different gravy. Yeah. And this was the first time I was like, I genuinely felt like we could have done it, So it wasn't over. It wasn't all over, but it was pretty rough, like how bad we did. Yeah. We tried to go back out the next day, and the team were like, look, go out and just sail. And the highest we could have come was like literally 68th or something, or 70th or whatever it was. And we tried to go back out, and we just couldn't get our heads in gear. So we just went home, literally left the event early. Then we were like, right, turn it around. We've got one more event, Olympic trials. Because basically, the Olympic trials will get extended if the competition's good between the GB teams, because you're not caring about everyone else, but everyone's racing, but you're just fighting against the GB team. So we went to the next event, and we felt so good again. Pre-event, we had like a little test regatta, doing sick. I was like, yes, confidence back. And then race day came, did absolutely terribly again. And it was, well, not terrible, we didn't do it as bad. We came silver fleet, but it was just mediocre performance. And it was heartbreaking, because I guess it was like I was on the team for 7 years or 8 years in the end. And it was just in my head. You just think like, oh, why not just, do the property stuff? Or why did I put all this effort in? I think it was more, it was just a lot of emotions all came out at once. I think, and all the stuff about the conversations that I wanted to have about, the property and the sailing and all that, and was it worth it? And I was just thinking how much further I could be ahead if I'd gone full time into that. But then I'm also like, I look back, I had the best 7 years of my life traveling. So it was a lot. Like
it's a great lifestyle as well, isn't it? It is. It's a great lifestyle. You're traveling, you're doing bits and bobs. Yeah. So at this point, then you knew you weren't getting in.
Yeah.
Could you go back and try for the 4 years time? How did it work?
So basically, like what happened was, when you fuck something that badly, you have a lot of conversations about what's gone wrong and stuff like that. I sailed with a guy called Nick, so I was sailing with him at the time, and we had some conversations, and like probably the most honest conversations I've ever had, because you don't really have those conversations until it goes that terribly wrong, which is right or wrong. But anyway, we had the conversations, and I just said, look, I need to take some time off. Like, I want to take a year and a half out, go full time in the property stuff, and just see where it takes me. So officially, I'm taking a year and a half out. So like, I've still got another half a year. I stopped sailing June last year, and the next ones are in LA 2028. So wow. I could go back for it and see what's happening. But at the moment, I don't know. Well, unofficially, I've taken a year and a half out, and at the moment, I'm just loving the property stuff, basically.
Well, that's it. At least you're in a cushy position now. If you wanted to, you've got a nice systemized business there, bringing you an income. Yeah. If you really want to go to LA and do it,
I think it's definitely once I stopped sailing, I realised like sailing. It's very much, well, not just sailing as a whole, but the whole gold medal thing. I'm not that patriotic. I'm not really doing it for the country as such. It's all for myself. It's all for myself. Yeah. It's all selfish reasons. So it would just really be like, do I want to get back into that circle and just push for it again? But it is like quite a bubble. And I definitely do things differently, for sure. I'd run it so differently compared to, and I do feel like I would do way better at it because of that. Yeah. And like you say, I'm in more of a cushy position, but I do think about like 2028, I'd be like 32. I would have been 27 now. So I'd be like 31. Whatever it is. I'm like, do I want to be 31, go to the Olympics? I don't know. Yeah. Like, it would be cool, but also like, being a millionaire, like living my life, having kids, like big family, traveling the world, like that would also be cool. I don't know. I think I don't know, anything can happen. I wouldn't rule that out. But if I wanted to, I could go back in at like a similar level, as long as I could perform at that level. And I'm sure the team would welcome me with open arms, I think.
That's incredible, mate. What a story. But at this point of heartbreak, then what did you actually, what did you have going on in property at this point of like where you knew, okay, we're not getting in?
So a year ago, like, I think it was June time where I decided I was stopping. I tried to work out, I'd sent those numbers to someone the other day. I think we had somewhere between 25, 30 properties.
So you're in a nice position.
I think we had maybe a bit less, but we were around like 25 mark, I think. The problem was it scaled so exponentially after that. Yeah. So we were on about like, I think it was about 25 mark, and we had the majority were rent to SAs. We probably had about 19 rent to SAs, maybe like 6 management. Just don't quote me on these, but probably something like that. And then we've done a few projects, because during COVID we did a lot of like buy-to-lets. We did our 3 buy-to-lets basically during COVID and a flip. Yeah.
So I didn't realise you had all that going on whilst doing that.
Yeah. Sorry, go on. No, so I was going to say yes. Like that's where people like don't realise that I've got, obviously I'm 50-50 my mum. A year and a half in, my sister came into the business as well. So she's now a shareholder in the business as well. So it's me, my mum and my sister. So when I was sailing, from the off, we wanted to outsource it as soon as possible. So like we outsourced the whole customer service side as soon as possible. I then focused on more systemization, acquisitions, and then they would focus on interior design and decorating. So we would take on like, we limit ourselves to like 1 property a month initially when it was just mum. And then when my sister came involved, Sophie, we then said 2 properties a month. Both of you set up one each. I do all the acquisition systemization. I hire the VAs. And that worked because none of us wanted to do guest services. And in SA, you've got obviously, it's basically a hospitality business. So, and I was really good at systems, websites. So I just did all that side of it. They just literally did the interior design. And then, when we started to buy properties, we would reduce the number of SAs we were taking on. And then they would like handle the refurbs. Because my mum and my dad had done, like I said, they have a small portfolio across like Crewe in the north. There's a few in the northeast as well. I think they're selling those. But around the northwest, and they've done like buy-to-lets before, so they have a lot of, and they've done refurbs, done flips. Dad's done development as well, so they have like property experience. So they did that based in a separate business, my sister, and now I was kind of continuing to grow there. So there is like a full team behind it. It's got a full family affair, family business.
How is it working with family?
Oh, it's hard. Like it's been pretty difficult. I think we're coming out like at the good side of it now, I think, but it has been really tough, especially when it's so hard. The dynamic as well is so different because I was obviously sailing for 3 years and they were like technically building the business. But in my eyes, I was still doing absolutely loads of the business as well. Like I brought in like, all the new acquisitions. I did all the websites. I did all the systemization. I was working my ass off anyway. And then when I went full time, it was like, oh shit, Dan's now doing loads. And I was like, I want to be rewarded for this. So we had a lot of conversations about shareholdings,
Tough conversations.
Yeah, tough ones, massively tough. Because the problem is as well, like the business is worth money now. Like it would have been easy at the start. Like I gifted my sister her shares, but I didn't gift them. Like me and my mum, it was a family business. I was sailing for Great Britain at the time. Didn't care about whatever the percentage it was of the business that was going. And technically, it would have been worth it wasn't probably worth anything at that point anyway, because it was so early on. Whereas like now, it's a much more of a tough conversation. Because one, it's like the conversation, I want to buy you out of the business, is basically the conversation. And that figure's now quite a large sum. And also it's like that figure, is it going to be a much larger sum once this grows to where we want to take it to? But we had loads of conversations. It's hard because for me, I'm quite I don't know, not a savage, but like I can really differentiate between like business and family. And my mum is very different in that. And she just sees her son being like a very direct individual, and she's like, why is my son talking to me like that? And it is sad, but like we've had a lot of conversation. I feel like we're coming out and like we're looking at like getting a business coach to try and help just like tie it all together a little bit, because that's the problem. Like you just can't differentiate between like family and business, and that's like really difficult. And the biggest one, actually, biggest lesson I've learned is like where you are in life and your goals. Whenever it's like we sit around for a weekly directors meeting, what are the goals? It's like write down what are the goals, and because I'm setting the goals, like I'm the CEO of the business, so I look at goals, development stuff. But my goals are so different to where my sisters and mum's goals are. My mum, she just wants me to be happy, so she's just building it for me. My sister, she's had a little Harvey born like New Year's Eve, so he's like 7 months old, whatever he is.
And he's ready to go.
And I'm just like, right, let's cook and let's go crazy. So we're in such different areas of our lives, different values, different goals. Like my sister would be happy just limiting growth, like as we're growing as we are. Yes, she wants it to get to that, but also she loves time with her family, like with a kid, obviously. My mum as well, like she's, just wants me to be happy. So what does that look like, but I'm also like, you mum, you stop working. So it's like, there's so many like different opinions on what, and because it's your mum, your sister, and my dad and me are very similar. So we have quite easy conversations. He knows when I'm talking like business mindset. He knows when I'm talking. And he doesn't take anything as offense. Whereas my mum and my sister would probably take it as offense, because it's like your little brother or it's your son, and it doesn't come across very nice. So
that's interesting.
It is hard. But yeah, the biggest lesson I took, like if you're gonna work with family, then just get your like values out on the table early and your goals, and like realize that everyone's in different situations. That's the biggest one. That's
interesting. Is there when you say set roles, do you obviously you have set roles within the business, but do you have like a shot caller sort of thing? Like they obviously look to you as, oh, what's the goals? What's this? Are you pointing the direction in terms of like where the business is going and stuff like that? Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so like we have set roles within the business of like what people do, and then like I would, if you ask them, they'd be like, Dan tells us where we're going in terms of, and the biggest problem has been like communication, to be honest, probably from my side. Like I very much not keep things to myself on purpose, but I'm like, I don't need to consult you on this. Like I'm doing this.
I'm like that, you know.
I'm
like
doing this, so like I don't want to put this weight on your shoulders anyway. I'll take a lot of the weight myself.
Yeah.
And I'll just deal with it. Well, I probably won't deal with it, but I'll try to deal with it, you know. So I will try to deal with it.
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? Because that resonates with me so much. I just don't tell anyone. And I don't tell anyone. Not out of being sneaky or anything. It's just like, you don't need to. I'll deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. No,
what do you think of that? Do you think it's good, bad, what?
I mean, yeah, there's definitely like, I think it's overall probably a bad trait, to be honest with you. I think because, especially if you're with like the situation I'm in, because they are people who want to know about things, whether they have influenced that decision or not. They would like to be in the know. Whereas I'm like, it's not worth my time to message you when I know I'm going to make the decision anyway. So it's one of the balance. It's probably a bad thing, but in terms of like growth, I think then the opposite side is in terms of like growth, like being an entrepreneur, moving fast, like least friction is probably a good thing. Yeah. So it's one of those things. It's probably looked upon as bad, but deep down maybe
that really resonates with me. I'm me all over, to be honest. But with the where do you think this desire then come from? Because like not many people have been, you know, training for the Olympics, and not many people have been. Where did that stem from? The desire to just do well.
I think, well, to be fair, so I was definitely like a fat kid at school, year 7 to 9, got bullied by like older kids. I think that's just like such a cliche story, but it's probably something, you know. Yeah. Like there's something in there. I always like crave attention for sure. Like we definitely used to much more than I do now. Yeah. I'm more humble now, but I definitely was like, craving in class. I was always like class clown, craving attention, and that's probably where it came from. So it's just like the whole driver for me was always external. To be honest with you, trying to like achieve to prove other people wrong. I think biggest one, because like sporting wise, that started just competitively. I wanted to beat other people in all the little. I played hockey to a high level, sailing as well, and like that was always like to beat other people and be better than other people. But like at the start, it probably stemmed from just like wanting to impress other people, and like there's still an element of me that like does that. You know, I love to please other people in terms of like making other people happy, and it's kind of like I think we spoke before like about when I help people too much. I just like because I like the reward of helping people. And like I'll gift people like not gift people like money, but like on a night out, for example. I'll pay for loads of drinks. Why not? Like everyone else having a good time, so I'm happy. And that like other people's joy makes me happy. So that's a lot of that is probably external.
Stem from that.
Stem from that. But like initially it was external, and then like now probably the interior motive for the property side of it is very much like I want to have like I had a good opportunity growing up for sure. Like we weren't like mad wealthy, but like sailing was amazing. And my dad, when I was like 13, 14, he never even doesn't remember this, but I remember it for some reason. But he was like, I just wish I was around more when you were a kid. And I do remember he would go out before I woke up, come back after I woke up. And I want that. If that was his regret, one of his regrets, then I want to make sure that doesn't happen to me. So that my biggest internal driver is that I will eventually have a family and kids. I want to be able to be in a situation where I don't need to work. It's all choice. I can be around. And that comes across like, oh, it was so sad my dad was never around. It's not like that. But for him to say that means he obviously thought he wasn't around that much.
It's crazy that you remembered that as well.
Yeah, and that's just one thing I remember when he said to me, and I said like that. My real driver for achieving the financial side of it is and it is money orientated for sure. Like money brings freedom. Like I love to travel. I love spending money not on like materialistic things. Sometimes materialistic things, but it makes your life way more enjoyable for sure. So that's where the driver comes from. Like I want to be able to support a family, have a nice house, nice car, be able to travel the world at a heartbeat, you know. And that's where it comes from.
Definitely. Tell us about this WhatsApp group that you got going. It sounds a belter, to be fair. So
the community group, so we've got basically it used to be a WhatsApp group. So it still is a WhatsApp group, but it's now changed. It's developed a bit more since then. So I started a WhatsApp group probably like October time, because that's when I started doing any sort of mentoring. And like with me, like I don't want to be like the best UK property trainer, you know, all those people fighting for that out there. And I don't want to replace my income just through mentoring. So first off, I limit myself to 2 mentees a month, at one time, and I do 4 consultation calls a week, and that was like perfect for me. That was the amount that I wanted to do. And then so I brought up this community just to I get so many WhatsApp like DMs, WhatsApp or Instagram asking questions. So I was like, right, create a community. Everyone just asked me questions in there, and I was like, right, this is overwhelming. There's so many questions in there. So we've created a community called the SA community. It's all focused around Airbnb, SA. And in that, it's 50-50 with Ollie Whitehouse, who does True Stays. And we've created it's like the Circle app. It's basically like Discord. But yeah, Circle app's linked to my bio. You can join the free side. There's 375 people in that. And in it, there's just like so many free resources. There's like a listing clinic, so you can put your listings in there and I'll basically analyze them for you. There's an FAQ, which is every single question anyone's ever asked me in the WhatsApp and now in the Circle as well. My DMs gets put into there, like searchable function, AI, all that stuff. And then, yeah, in the free community, we do a free monthly live Q&A. And then there's a paid side to it as well, which have like 56 members in now. And we do a weekly mastermind session as well. And there's a full A to Z course, better than any course out there because it is. And there's just, the full A to Z course. There's pro resources, discounts there for all like the people we work with, all our contact lists, everything like that. And like the whole reason I built this was because like I hate all the stuff on social media where it's like, you know, Dubai, Lambos, you know, we're selling this Airbnb course, $3,000, $5,000. And like all their money is coming from that course, not from their actual Airbnb business. Whereas like you can go on my Airbnb listings on Airbnb right now and you'll see there's 90 properties on there, soon to be 100. Yeah. And I'm like real in that sense. And I do actually want to help people. Yeah. And that is why you can join the free side and just sit in the free, there's resources in there. You can ask questions in there. Oh, there's the paid side and you can get a full course, weekly mastermind, ask me any questions, all the stuff in there. There's free leads as well. So every single lead that comes through my website, Guaranteed Rent, Airbnb Management, and Ollie's website, which is literally about, my website alone averages 2.3 leads a day, and Ollie's averages something similar as well. So that's like 5 leads a day that get put in the community, free. Don't have to, not deal source. Literally, you comment yes, first person gets it. I send them the lead, straight direct with the landlord. So like, I genuinely want to help people, and that proves it. No commitment, join and leave whenever you want. Like $49.99 a month, and you just literally, you're in. And like the thing is, I'm just like, look, if you don't think it's worth it, join it for a month and leave, and then happy days. Yeah. Like if you don't think it's right, but no one's left the pro side, so
that's brilliant.
Because in there is more value than you'll ever get on any course or anything like that. And the whole reason, like we said before, I genuinely want to help people. And like when I did my consultation calls as well, so many people messaged me saying, can you mentor me? And I'm like, you do not need a mentor right now. You have no Airbnbs, you have no rent to SA knowledge. Do one call with me. I'll teach you how to get a rent to SA, because that's the easy part of it. How to find them, how to get it, how to negotiate it, what contracts you need to use. I'll give it all to you, £300, 1 hour, and then you will decide whether you're going to do this or not. And if you go away and do it all, come back to me again, and we can do another call, or just join the post community, and all of it's in there anyway. You can catch me on a weekly call. But the point is, like, you don't need, at the start, you just need knowledge, and you need to action it. You need, like, rather than having like a full mentor, like $2,500 a month, whatever it is. Yeah. Like all these people need is, and to be honest, I put so many people off rent to SA, I'll be honest with you. Because I'm like, not everyone's an entrepreneur. Yeah. Everyone sees this stuff on social media. They're like, oh, £1,000 a month profit. Yeah, I get 10 of them, 10K a month. Yeah. And like, in principle, yes. But you do need to put a lot of action in. So I'm pretty real with it. And that's why we created the community. So you can just join, benefit from all, watch all the recordings, see if it's right for you, go action it or not, basically. Yeah. Like balls in your court. Yeah.
It sounds a cracker, mate. I'll put it in the show notes on the description and stuff. No problem. So what is the business looking like now then? I imagine you sound like quite early on. You were onto your systems. You were quite business savvy. How's it looking now? How many units do you have? Have you mind sharing?
So we've got 90 listings that are actually live at the moment, but there's like 10 that need to go. We'll have 100 basically once I've onboarded them all. We've got literally so many in the pipeline, but hopefully by the end of this month we'll have 100 that are live on Airbnb. The balance of that, there's 32 rent to SAs, and then the rest are management, of which 2 of them are owned by 2 SAs, but they're in the management side. Businesses are split. From the off, like I said, what it's about. So we've got 8 virtual assistants in the Philippines who do all the customer service side. There's different levels to those. You've got like the customer service manager, and then you've got like the reps, and you've got like the people between, and then you've got the reps below. So there's like a tiered system there. There's my mum, my sister who do interior design. My sister's actually been on maternity for the last few months. She's coming back in part-time at the moment. My dad runs the maintenance arm of the business as well now. So we've bringing out a maintenance arm, which he's running. We're actually hiring someone full-time for that. And we're hiring someone full-time for acquisitions at the moment. So this year is about building out the UK team. You know, we have our virtual assistants in the Philippines, but if we want to take this to where I want to take it, we need a UK team, UK office, stuff like that. And And yeah, the real goal is to get it to 1,400 units. So, 40 next from where we are now. But it's very possible. We want to do that through block management, taking on like large portfolios, acquiring smaller management businesses. So we're looking at purchasing a few management businesses at the moment, going in, optimizing them, systemizing them, bringing them under our group, and then growing that way. That's where it's currently at.
That's incredible, mate. And where is this all operating in Manchester or all
so
about?
We operate across the whole of the Northwest. So Manchester, Liverpool, Chester, Crewe, Nantwich. So we started in Chester. So that's our biggest place. We've got 22 in Chester. Quite a lot of there. But yeah, Crewe, Nantwich. Then we've got Stoke-on-Trent, Birmingham, Stoke-on-Trent / Newcastle-under-Lyme, Birmingham, and then London as well. And I moved to Manchester to basically grow our Manchester, just our area basically, grow our Manchester portfolio. And once we've onboarded them all, we'll have about 25 in Manchester. So that's grown like absolutely crazy. And then in November time, I'm looking to move to London to do the same thing.
Seriously?
To basically just expand our London one as well. Also going to Dubai in October, see what's going on there.
See what's going on there.
See what's going on over there. But like long term, we want to have a luxury arm. We want to bring out an Alps arm as well. I love skiing. I've just decided that like if I can create a business in locations that I just love to go. I don't want to build a business that I have to be there, but it gives me a good excuse to go. So if I get I'm going skiing for basically like the most of January, and whilst I will be skiing, I will also be trying to build a team out there, so we can start to like luxury chalet Alps management as well. Because one thing about SA as well, you just get paid way more for luxury properties and like London properties because on the management side. And to be fair, bigger risk but bigger reward on the rent to SA side as well. So like our unit we have a 4-bed luxury place in Lake District, does extremely well. The rent's like £2,000 a month, but revenue's like 10k a month, 10 and a half. Same with like London. We have management clients that, 2-bed in Battersea, it's like £10,500 a month, monthly booking, like long-term booking. That is, we could do bigger short-term, but to get around the 90-day rule, we need long-term. So that's like a 4-month booking, £10,500 a month. That's £1,500 a month fixed management fee. Whereas, our 1-bed in Liverpool that's £65 a night, L17, makes us £150, £200 a month management, and probably more stress.
More hard work
than the London. So that's why we wanted to build the Manchester one, which is majority contractors, and then build the London luxury market as well, because you just get paid way more, basically. Bluntly, that's what we do. At the end of the day, think smarter, not harder.
That's it. Like you said though, it's probably just as much work for a London one, than, if not more.
100%.
Than say L17 or whatever. But probably should have asked it at the start. But why did you decide to go the service accommodation route?
So like people ask me this, and I'll be honest with you, it was just the thing that I did. So like I don't love hospitality, I don't love SA, Airbnb, but it was a good way to make money. So I started rent to rent first of all because I wanted to do it low cost. I had about £2,500. Mum had £2,500, probably more than that, but that's what we both put in at the start, So like that was just what we started with, and Rent to SA happened to be the thing that that my mentor at the time was telling me. So that's just what I fell into. And once you fall, you can jump around so much between different strategies. And I was like, look, let's just focus on one, get fucking good at it, and it'll pay dividends in the long term. And we've always scaled on like quality, not quantity, and because of the sailing and limiting our growth, it has made us have really good systems. Like a lot of people grow really fast in SA because it's quite easy to, and they fall because they just don't get any bookings or their quality drops. Whereas we've been like growing steadily, and that's why we're reinvesting into like having a UK team, because we genuinely want to be someone who's around in 10, 15 years time, or at least the company will still be around. Whether I'm going to be owning it or not is a different story. But I didn't choose SA because I love hospitality, because it is very much a hospitality business. There are easier businesses out there for sure. You could do like social housing, HMO, and have nothing to do with it, for example. Whereas at the time, that was it. Rent to SA was the one that I got taught, and we grew and grew and grew, and I was like, well, now I'm good at it, so let's just keep doing that.
I genuinely believe, Dan, even just speaking to you for 30 minutes, that you could have went into anything, and I think you would have done really well from it.
I appreciate that, but I think I do think it's like, just if you do one thing over and over again, you eventually get good at it, because you learn like that. We made so many mistakes over the years, like whether it was with guests, with properties. We've given back the first property we ever took on. Like we gave back another property last year that made us about £1,500 for the whole year. Profit, but it's not really, is it? 50 for the whole year. So you make loads of mistakes, but if I then jumped into HMO, which I don't know nothing about, we could do the refurb, yeah, but after that I'd be pretty, I could build the systems, but just be starting again for no reason.
Yeah.
Whereas if I could just pivot into like a luxury market or higher end service accommodation where I get paid more, then great,
Happy days, mate. Does it ever just one last question whilst we're on it?
Yeah.
Does it ever scare you that you've scaled to a great size now? Does it ever scare you that maybe one day, if you have a really short month, and does it ever scare you don't get fully, to the 80% or the 70%, or does that make sense?
Yeah. So basically, what happened was we had, when we first became VAT registered, we had a bit of like a cash shortage.
Yeah.
Just because we reinvested so much into it. We hadn't pulled out salaries yet either. We just got loads of new SAs on. Yeah. So like the bank account never really moved because if you think we were making whatever a month, then we, just reinvested all of that.
Yeah.
And then basically our VAT bill came around and it was like 45 grand.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, like we don't have any of that money. We have the money in the account probably.
Yeah.
I think we had like 30 grand in the account or something. But we had loads of outgoing. So basically, I sold all of my stocks and shares, ISAs, all my crypto, all my investments, and put 30 grand back into the business. And then like floated the business for a few months. Because it was like, also it came, our financial year randomly ends like as we go into low season as well. So it all came at the wrong time.
And scary time.
And also that was it as well. That's why we had no money. We also we'd also reinvest. This was around where the buy to lets had happened as well. Because they're buy to SA, the mortgage was taking ages. I think it's like 8 months to get a mortgage on the refinance. So we had so much cash tied up because that's where the money had gone. It was all in the properties. So we had a lot of cash tied up, and we had obviously a massive rent run anyway at the time. If we had because the majority of them were rent to SA. And so I just sold all my investments, basically, put it all back into the business as a loan, and then floated us, which was quite good. And then eventually the refinance came in, I paid myself back, etc. But ever since then, we keep 3 months. We've got 3 months worth of rent because that's normal. Like most of our property is on rent to SA side, except for the new ones. We could ditch in a month or in 3 months maximum. So we've got 3 months worth of rent for our whole rent to SA portfolio in a pot in another company. So.
I think one reason why you are doing so really well as well is you can just tell it's a proper, you guys pay yourself salaries and stuff like that. And some people are just literally just, we done $1,000 that month. We'll just take that. And it's a proper company, isn't it?
Yeah, that's we wanted to build, everyone builds himself a job, and I'm very much build ourselves a business. And even my mum, when we first started, she was like, we don't need a virtual assistant. I was like, Mum, we had 4 properties and 2 virtual assistants, which is everyone's like, why would you do that? But I was like, well, I said to my mum, do you want to do customer service? Yeah. Do you want to answer the phones? Do you want to do all the emails? And I was like, no. Yeah. I don't want to do it. So we need to hire someone. That's the whole. Otherwise, I would rather have a fully operational business, right? Reinvest all the profits, and then realize we have no business, than just build myself a job. And that's the same with hiring UK employees now, because we do need to the acquisition side at the moment. We did hire an ops manager. Unfortunately, didn't work out. So that was a hire and fire in a month. It was just great. Hiring's really hard apparently, which I found out. So so we're hiring an acquisitions manager because I'm the only one who do acquisitions, and we get 2.3 leads a day, of which we probably only take on, like I say, we give away most of them for free to the community now anyway. But if we hire all these people that we need, and then we don't have a business, then so fair enough. We'll just do something else. We don't want to. I mean, we will have a business, but the mindset needs to be there that you build a business, not a job. Yeah. And every time we've hired and virtual assistants, whatever, it's always boosted the business massively, because all those things that you don't do because you don't have time to do, you then start to do, or you get someone else to do. Yeah. And just hiring, reinvesting profits is one of the big reasons that we've got to where we are, and just positioning it as a business that you're growing, because the business has the value. And now we're doing the purchase of other businesses as well. The whole aim for me, I said to you as well, 1,400 units would be about £25 million valuation. And whether we'd sell it or not, but that would be pretty cool to have that valuation. Definitely. And positioning yourself as that, I couldn't sell the business for that money if it was all reliant on me. Yeah. So the whole time we're building it, it's right, how do we actually have it below us? Yeah. And that's why every job that we do, I just say to my sister or mum, I'm like, how can we not do that job? Yeah.
That's it. A business is something that basically works without you in it, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's the thing. So what is your day-to-day looking like now then?
So, at the moment, just hired an acquisitions manager who hopefully start in about a month. But so at the moment, it's a lot of it's just chatting with landlords that are pre-qualified. Yeah. And just basically trying to onboard them as smooth as possible. Because like I said before, we do a lot of like quality over quantity. So we've always wanted every property we take on, we want to make sure it's to our standard. So really, my day to day is me trying to do less and less and less. Like my day to day looks like me doing a load of jobs like with the landlord side. I try not to take phone calls. I mean, everyone just wants to have a phone call, and I'm just like, I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
And they just ring me up and ask me like what property to buy. I'm like, I don't know. Like I do know, but like that's not a service we offer.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I'm pretty savage in terms of valuing my time now.
Yeah.
But a lot of it really is just putting together processes of like the VAs to do more things. Like right now, it's like we've got so many Airbnb listings to put on, so I'll just set the VA's task to do Airbnb listings. I'll record a video of me doing the booking.com optimization or the Verbo optimization or the Silverdor, or I'll have a meeting with the Airbnb account manager, or basically all the high level stuff. I won't deal with any of like the booking inquiries, nothing like that. But everything I do, like I say, everything I do on a day-to-day basis, the way I work it is like, it has to be moving the business forward. So like, that's why I would say my day-to-day looks like me moving the business forward every day.
Yeah.
That's what, if I do 1% better every single day for the business, I'll be happy. So that's kind of like what I do. If I do a day where all I do is tasks that are kind of keeping us where we are, I'm like, that's not really progression. Yeah. So I always try, like at the moment, I always try and do something that's like a new system or a new process that I've taught to a VA that now is not my task. Yeah. Or a new email template that we send out, or, you know, a new automation that we do. So
tasks that aren't repeatable, isn't it? And and you're sourcing them,
exactly. Yeah. Like an example would be the other day, I built a new like quotation calculator to speed. The VAs were like, we take so long to do our corporate quotations, and I was like, I don't know why, because we have a set standard price. And then so what we did was I just created like a really simple quotation calculator. They put what property it is, automatically pulls off what price it should be. They put the number of nights and just quotes it with all the commission. They just select what corporate travel agent it is, and just building stuff like that that improves the business, or like the management statement, stuff like that. And then also like my day to day as well, obviously I've got the mentoring side of it as well. So I do, like I said before, 4 calls a week with people who do weekly calls, and then I have, you know, 2 mentees, so they'll do a full day once a month as well.
Is that something you're looking to grow, or you're not too bothered?
Genuinely, that is my maximum capacity. I'm not. I'd love to grow the community, which is what I'm going to try and push pretty hard for, growing that, because I can help people on a mass scale, and I'll continue to do the mentoring and the weekly calls because it's a bit more bespoke. But like I say, most people who are just starting out have less than 7 units. You know, maybe less than 5 units. Don't really need a mentor. So the people I mentor normally have like more than 15 properties. Like some of the people I mentor have like 70 properties, 50 properties, and I'm teaching them systemizations, processes, and that's what I enjoy as well. So I'll continue to do that, but I'll just continue it as it is. 2 mentees a month, 4 calls a week. That's the amount of time that there's still enough time for me to work on my business. Because one thing I don't want to do is, basically have like a business that is going smaller because I'm focusing on mentoring.
Too much on that.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah. Dan, honest to God, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. I've loved every minute of it. If anyone's trying to maybe get in this community or connect with you or any of the good stuff, where is the best place to find you?
Instagram, The Property Athlete. Find me on Instagram, the verified one, because now I'm verified, because I've got to do that. Otherwise, you get fake accounts everywhere. So The Property Athlete on Instagram, and then link in my bio, free community access. Join that, and we do like a monthly free live Q&A as well. So I just recommend seeing what's on there, jumping on that. Brilliant. It's on this Thursday as well. But
happy days. I appreciate your time.
No worries.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem.